we're now at that point with Kansas City too, that this has been a long time going, that this has been a completely uncompetitive team. Just not like completely uncompetitive. Like night in and night out, not at all on the same level as the team facing them.
Well, don't worry, John. They're going to trade Aroldis Chapman for a King's ransom and be fine.
And like that's the thing, their path back to this is the other thing for these front offices. Why do you want these guys running the next draft? They keep screwing up. The worst thing they can I understand the draft is in like a month basically. There's not enough time to, even if you wanted to do something at this point, you're kind of locked in, but this is why these decisions have to get made quickly and decisively too, because they are now ruining future crops, so to speak. They are poisoning the well for future Royals teams because they don't know what they're doing right now. And that has such a huge ripple effect that, like we said, it's going to be the reason that this is not a winning team for quite some time.
Yeah. Jon Tayler, speaking of winning team and not a winning team for quite some time, Alvarez gone for a month. McCullers now gone for the year. The Astros reportedly looking for a lefty bat at the deadline. I mean, we talk about season from hell, but like the Astros really are just having the season from hell.
And despite all that, they're 9 games over 500.
Yeah. But does this continue? Do you see the wheels falling off? How much more can they withstand at the injury front?
It's thin now because, obviously losing a month's worth of Yordan Alvarez at bats is bad. You don't need me to tell you that, nor do you need fancy numbers for me to tell you that. But, we have their postseason odds right now at 64.5% and their division odds at 35% roughly. So that's, they're about 7 points behind the Rangers in division odds and about 7 points behind them in postseason odds too. That's still pretty good. I mean, those are the best, those are better odds than the Orioles, than the Blue Jays, playoff odds overall, than the Angels, than the Guardians, than the Twins, are about the same as the Twins, and the Twins are leading their division, which I don't want to delve into AL Central talk, but man.
I mean, what's funny though?
Well, I guess we just talked about the Royals, so we already spelunked through sewers.
That's true. The Twins, the thing that's funny to me, and I shouldn't say it's funny, but like Twins fans hate this season. Like they're in first place, and every Twins fan on Twitter is like, I hate this team. I hate I hate this. I hate these calls. I hate like the management style. I hate everything. Like if you go through Twins Twitter every day, you would never guess this team was in first place. Twins fans are not having fun at all.
I mean, that's the thing. What fun is there to be had with a 500 team? It's just a frustrating place to be.
Yeah.
You're not good enough, but you're also just
like, you're going to make the playoffs and get blasted by the Yankees or something.
Exactly. It's just, it's almost like it's not the sense of like, what's the point? You take your small victories where you can, but when you talk about the overarching goal, it's like, yeah, this is not really a very fun place to be. No. But with regards to the Astros, I mean, it's a pretty thin place right now. It's Yordan Alvarez was projected almost certainly to be their most valuable player going forward. Again, losing a month of that is very bad. I think obviously it's survivable, but the problem is that team doesn't have a whole lot of hitting depth right now anyway. We've seen a lot of it already because they've had so many injuries to deal with already. And that's the thing. There's not really much left on the Astros 40-man roster that's really going to be of any help to them, When you talk about, you look at what there's in AAA, there's David Hensley, whom they've tried and, has not really worked out. There's Rylan Bannon, former Orioles and Cubs piece, I want to say, who is, again, no great shakes. That's really it. Otherwise, it's a second rounder they drafted in 2017 named Joe Perez, who is now in his 6th year in the minors and is a utility bat, and a catcher in Corey Lee. There's nothing really left to add hitter-wise, that's going to be of any help to them. And so understandably, that means Dana Brown, like you said, he's looking for another lefty bat, especially because with Alvarez out, that's a pure righty lineup. So, I don't think, unless, Jose Abreu finally remembers that he's Jose Abreu and or turns back the clock to being Jose Abreu of the past, they really can't afford any more hitter injuries. This is about as far as it can go. In terms of what they need to do, I think it is add some kind of lefty bat, and I think you would probably want to focus on a corner outfield piece, or either corner or
who's the lefty
anywhere
bat
anywhere in the outfield that isn't right.
Who's feels like the lefty target for them? Who are they thinking in the summer with that coming out? Who is, like, because that got intentionally leaked, who do you think they're targeting?
That's a good question. I mean, the trick of it is, like, I don't really know that there are going to be that many. I mean, I think if San Francisco falls out of the picture, I wonder if Jock Peterson makes sense.
If they keep playing the Cardinals, I think they might win the World Series.
I wonder how attached the Cubs are to Cody Bellinger going forward, particularly given that, they're clearly not going anywhere. But it's a rough group right now otherwise. I mean, Max Kepler, I'm sure the Twins would be happy to move to try to get something for, but that's not really going to, I think, do anything for the Astros. Similarly, I think, a guy like...
Jock really enjoyed beating the Astros in the World Series with the Braves. I don't see him being okay with it.
I mean, he's also not... I think it could work there regardless of what that whole situation is, but I also don't know that that's really the kind of impact that they need.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think without being able to spend big on prospects, you look at around the league and you look at the teams who are, more or less out of the playoff picture. I mean, does Detroit really have Detroit doesn't really have a lefty outfield bat to offer, neither does Kansas City. I don't think the Red Sox are going to put Alex Verdugo on the market, and I don't know that does anything for Houston really anyway. The A's, what's the point? The Nationals don't have that. I mean, maybe if... No, I mean, I don't really know where that comes from right now, unless I'm just missing something that I'm just missing something.
Is there
clearly
a White
here.
Sox we can throw on them?
Andrew Benintendi?
I was going to say
but I don't know that does anything really for Houston either. I mean,
yeah,
that's kind of the thing is who.
Well, you also got to consider Drew Gilbert being a superstar right out of the gate when he gets called up, whenever that is. So you have help on the way.
I mean, I don't know, maybe, but honestly, for as much as I've laughed about that, maybe that is part of their calculus. Is let's see what Drew Gilbert does over the next 2 months, and maybe he's a post-deadline call-up. Maybe that gives them some time. I mean, I think that would probably be the sensible plan of action. Is hey, let's take the next 2 months, see what happens with Gilbert, check out what happens around the rest of the league, try to make a list of names here, see what we can get at the deadline, and if the deadline doesn't work and Gilbert's killing it in Double-A, bring him up.
Yeah.
That honestly might be as good an option as any, because again, I don't really see where the lefty outfield bat is coming from, at least from any team that's already out of it, where you think that's really going to make any kind of sizable difference. I think it's I think maybe one option is the Cardinals, since they do have their glut of outfielders. But at the same time, like, what is the do you have what it would take to get Lars Nootbaar? I don't think so. I don't really see that happening. I don't think they're going to give up. I don't think they're going to give him up for anything, for any kind of cheap price. And otherwise, aside from that, Jordan Walker's a righty, and obviously someone that they're not going to get rid of easily, or they're not going to move easily. Tyler O'Neill's hurt and a righty anyway. Does someone like an Alec Burleson really move the needle? Does someone like Dylan Carlson really move the needle at this point? I don't think so. So I'm not really sure where they're going to get that lefty bat, but I think they definitely do need to find it, though. I feel like, because this team cannot really suffer any more offensive injuries or struggling.
I would agree. Jon Tayler, what can the good folks check out from you and the team over at Fangraphs?